Here it comes. Almost there.
Wide to the right. No
good. Happy Victory Monday, Buck fans. What's going on? I know you should be hyped. Welcome to another great episode of Bucs Report. The aftermath. Work should have been so much easier today as you clocked in because you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are undefeated and you sit atop the NFC South throne. Everybody else took an L except for the Bucs. We went in there. It was sloppy. It was sluggish. It was heart-wrenching. It was frustrating. And yet we still came out victorious. We deep fried the fucking Falcons. So Falcon fans, you cannot talk shit anymore. We swept you last year. That was last year. You fucking blew it. It's still our division. Do not listen to the media. They lied to you. And now you're going to sit there looking foolish. You played a Bucs team that was out there just feeling themselves out. Now imagine when we're at full strength. We're going to be putting the NFL on notice. Emeka's already has. But no further ado, let's get into it and let's bring on Coach Slick, a.k.a. the British guys always fly. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Hey, I'm enjoying my Victory Monday, man. I'm just enjoying the banter you can have with everyone. All of the NFC South coughed it up last week. To the Jaguars, to the Cardinals, and to us. It's beautiful. It puts us in the best position to start with. There's no one really chasing us right now. I'm great with it. The game was frustrating in places, but with these kind of matchups, they're always chippy. There's always nerves. There's always more to it, and that's what you kind of got. The Buccaneers did enough to stay in. The defense showed up. Probably after the second drive, really showed up, and then it kind of just took off from there. Offense took a little bit longer, but ultimately did enough. Baker was cold, very, very cold, and then when it came to being clutch, the man was clutch.
The man was clutch. Exactly. The man was clutch. That's all we need to understand. He was clutch. That's what, you know what, that word that a lot of people like to overuse, that's getting up there to the elite echelons. You don't always have to, again, Slick, how many times do we have to tell people, just like fucking receivers, you don't have to have quarterbacks, don't always have to have 375 yards. It's the touchdowns that count. It's what they did that mattered at the most important time. Baker knew he was sloppy and sluggish earlier, but Slick, if people don't understand, it takes time for offenses to gel, especially when you're switching up the offense. I was very intrigued. I didn't know how to feel when we had put Barton at left guard, but I left tackle. I do remember he played some of that at North Carolina, but overall, Slick, I was very pleased. The true guy that had me nervous was Michael Jordan, and yet he stood out. He did his job. You didn't hear anything from him. And only to give up one sack, mind you, it was a dirty ass sack from the fucking Falcons refs. You was fucking up. You was trying to get our boy hurt out there. You held your load on that whistle. So I'm disappointed. But anyway, overall, I was very impressed with what the line did, shuffling things around. I thought that was good. I think Grizzard, of course, he got his feet wet. Now I think he's going to understand certain things on what makes Baker work. But yes, the offense took its time, but they were effective and lethal when they needed to be, Slick. That's what's important.
Yep, absolutely. Look, These are the kind of games that we got the must wins. We snuck the win. We deserve to win. And let's face it, we missed a field goal and we missed an extra point. That game could have been out of sight before anything ever really happened. So ultimately, for the Buccaneers to come out of the way with the win, I'm immensely pleased, and the emotions were high. That whole red zone fucking bullshit that we had to endure.
Yes.
Just took fucking forever. I didn't like how our defense kind of gave it up when we gave them the ball back once we took the lead, and we were like, we got to stop them here. They did get into a position where they could have kicked the field goal to take them to overtime. And even then, it's going to go to overtime. There's no guarantee they win anything, but it was one of those that we had to pull out, and we did. Sebastian Dennis looked very quiet to begin, really quiet and really slow, and got out athleted on the pretty much the second play of the game and gives up the touchdown. But mind you, when you look at this Buccaneers offense, we win the game 23-20. If you nullify that touchdown and we never gave it up, the Buccaneers only give up 13 points.
Yes, sir.
Coach Bowles likes to feel people out. I think he tried to feel this one out a little bit too much. He did get aggressive, which I did like. The fourth downs, much better from him. I am pleased that he is putting a little bit more on the table when it comes to that regard. But we got a lot to unpack, man. We talk about how slow they were to begin with.
Yeah,
they were scarily slow to begin with. It was the touchdown that ended up happening should never have happened. I could understand it being a big game, but it should never have been a 50-yard touchdown. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it was, of course, you already know where I was going with this. It was typical fashion, like you said. Bowles is trying to establish himself by just throwing these little quick jabs when he should have come out with the fucking haymaker. There is no reason you leave Bijan Robinson on an open field by himself. Now, I will cut Savassi some slack because that is a top 3 running back. That's a lot to ask for someone who is not a veteran to make that kind of tackle on that kind of talent. However, Bowles should have been more loading the box. At this point, I was never in fear of the Falcons beating the Bucs in the deep passes. They don't have those type of receivers yet, and we'll talk about Drake London in a little bit, and people will understand why. Press them first, Slick. Let's see what they do, because all Penix was doing was taking what the defense gave him. The short passes, they were literally destroying us in the flats. That's why that touchdown happened. Nobody else was out there. If we would have loaded the box earlier, let's see what they got. I want to see Penix take the deep shot. Let's see what you got. Just because a quarterback, this, Slick, just because they take a deep shot doesn't mean it's going to be accurate. Let's see what he can do. So that's why that touchdown happened. And again, Savassier, this is really his first time really playing. He still kind of has that rookie mentality because he's been hurt most of his career. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a break on that. I think,
and he got better in the game too. So we'll give him that. He grew into that game much more comfortably. He knows what the standard is because Levante David's already come out and said something. He knows he's got to do better. He knows he's got to play better. Everyone else kind of did their thing. I would like to have seen more pass rush. We never really finished too much on the pass rush. They did tend to put Reddick around all over the place, which was kind of useful in ways, but also could like to have seen him just settle into one spot and do his thing. Yeah. But it is what it is. Bowles called a pretty decent defensive thing. I think we were probably a little bit of that old school Coach Bowles cushion coverage in areas, but not too much. It wasn't everywhere, but the Buccaneers tackling in the first half was a little bit lackluster, and they needed to get that kind of sorted. They settled into the game and they got much better. The offense took a little bit longer, and I think that's have to do with the line shift not completely set. When you bring in a new lineman, that changes things. When you bring in a new lineman and you move a lineman, that changes things. When you bring in a lineman and you move 2 of them around, that changes things. So I think it was the best line that they could have put out. I just think it took a moment to get themselves established and get going, because once they got going, the run game was there.
Yeah.
Passing game was there. And let's talk about the big name on campus right now. Emeka Egbuka. Everyone knows.
Yes.
This is what happens when a rookie goes into a game, and we know he's talented, and then obviously they know he's talented, but he hasn't done anything yet to warrant the extra coverage. You can't have your game plan, I'm going to double cover Emeka Egbuka when Mike Evans is there.
100%.
Mike Evans didn't get a lot because he was the one being expected to be targeted. He was the one that was going to get all the attention, and that allowed someone like Emeka Egbuka to really shine. And that's what he did. He took the most of his opportunity and went out there and did his thing.
Yes, Jason Light is literally saying this right now, Slick. This is what he's telling everybody. I got you. Jason Light knows what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why he is fucking exceptional, because this is an insurance policy. No one saw the McMillan injury coming. We understand. People got to understand. These guys are looking at they evaluated the offseason of what happened last year. So like now that pick just might be what solidifies the Bucs offensively, not only being number one, but taking it all the way. You just said it. They were worried about Mike Evans. And let's give a little bit of credit to Mike Evans. I want to show you a quick clip here, because it's not only about the threats, because Slick, we've seen players in their older years where they're decoys, but they're really not effective. It's just their name is keeping them, not Mike Evans, not Michael Lynn Evans. Let's take a look at this, Slick. Watch this beautiful play.
Oh yeah, he still got it. Like
he still got it.
You just, I think now that you're gonna, now that Emeka Egbuka has got his touchdowns, he is gonna be the one that they talk about in game plans now.
Oh,
right? Not just Mike Evans. So there'll be certain times where they'll double cover one and they'll double cover the other one, or they'll do a bracket move with the one and then double cover the other one.
100%. Emeka has put himself on notice, and I'm glad that we're doing that. But do you apparently there was a story that Mike Evans said that Egbuka was calling it like, this is what I want to do because I'm going to win this. And he has such a mature veteran mindset already, and he's got great hands. The way that he caught the first catch of his career, Baker kind of threw it a little behind him, and he was still able to snatch it out of the air with concentration. Very fluid in his route running abilities. It was not, and the most important thing, Slick, he was clutch at big moments. The moments weren't too big for him. This is why, Falcon fans, I put calls to pause for your boy Drake London. He dropped a very important fucking catch, Slick. This is someone who's been in the league longer than Emeka. And that pass should have been that catch should have been a lot more simpler. It didn't take
I've got no problem with saying that he's a very talented wide receiver, but he's not. To say that he's the best receiver in the NFC South is laughable. I would say right now, if you were to do a live comparison, he's probably the third best wide receiver.
Yeah.
In the NFC South. And that could easily change to the fourth best by the end of the season.
Exactly. And again, with the Emeka, he got the job done, and he was very, very poised. And again, like you said, with the presence of Mike Evans, who was still getting clutch catches on third downs and fourth downs, that was I appreciated Evans out there, and you can just see that this team is unified, because you see Evans doesn't get selfish when Egbuka gets the shine. He's like, fuck it, I'm happy. Hell, Slick, if anything, he's like, this is going to add more time to my body. This is gonna
one of the things you got to understand is one of the good things about being in a franchise where wins were hard to come by.
Yes. You
don't become egotistical because you can't. Because with the win, you can get he's had the accolades and just not the wins.
Yeah.
So he's probably in the mindset now. So I can live without the accolades because my time will come. And when it comes, I'll take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm not going to, I want the win first. The win is number one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very much the Tom Brady mindset that was been institutionalized here in Tampa.
Yes.
But one thing I wanted to go back to when we were talking about Emeka Ibuka, it is proven to be the right pick so far.
Yes.
Now, I saw some people saying because of Savassier's woes and how bad he played at the beginning, that, well, that we should have drafted a linebacker. We should have drafted a linebacker, they say. So I decided that I would, this afternoon while I was just chilling on my sofa, what would it have looked like if the Buccaneers decided that they did go for a Jair Campbell or what have you? There are only 3 linebackers in the NFL draft that actually played. I'm talking like started or at least had decent game time. Only 3. One was Jair Campbell, so he did get season ready in the end. So the Buccaneers would have had to take him. However, we know that Emeka's the right choice. We're all bought in on Emeka being the right choice. So that means Jair Campbell's off the table. The Buccaneers would have had to use their 2nd round pick. Well, it goes further than that. Carson Schweinsparger, he's the only other one. And Terrence Knighton, or where his name, I'm trying to find him. They're the only ones that actually started this week. So anyone else the Buccaneers would have picked, if they decided to wait for their 2nd round, decided to wait for their 2nd round and pick a linebacker, Demetrius Knight, Carson Schweinsteiger, and Jair Campbell. They're the only 3. The Buccaneers couldn't pick them because they picked Emeka Ibuka, and by the time we picked in the 2nd round, those guys were off the table. Everyone else that was picked has not started yet for a team. So we wouldn't have had a different linebacker there. We potentially could have drafted a 2nd round draft pick. We could have potentially drafted a linebacker in that place, and Savasse still would have been out there. Exactly. It doesn't mean anything.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you go with the best available option that's going to help your team immediately, especially if you are making a Super Bowl run. This is not the time for us to be doing pet projects. This is a win now mode for the Bucs. That's why the pick was very good. I was very happy with the Emeka pick because I wanted this. I think with the addition of Emeka, this puts the offense over. You just said with Emeka's presence now, Slick, we have other receivers that can step up because they're going to be looking at doubling Evans or Emeka. Now with Tez Johnson can get more opportunities. A Sterling Shepard, who, by the way, played a solid game. We didn't even mention the fact that Cade Otton, him and Baker didn't have a great connection. Imagine what that's going to be like next week, because Baker has his love for Cade Otton. So we were as sloppy as we were still very effective. But yes, with the addition of Emeka, ladies and gentlemen, your offense is going to be at another level now where it gives your other players on the team, the opportunity to develop and make names for themselves. They can't double everyone forever. And again, if Emeka continues this for another couple weeks, I think Godwin is expected to return, I think, by week 5. That also takes the pressure off of Chris Godwin to have to come out and be immediately have an immediate impact. He can slowly take his time, because remember when he recovered from his last injury, Slick, he slowly started to get back to his old self. That's what we want from Chris Godwin. At this point, this is a for right now. Looks like it could be a home run draft pick for us. Now, we can't speak too soon, but we're seeing signs. He was the best wide receiver in the draft this year, Slick. Matthew Golden did not do so well with the Packers. Now, mind you, Packer fans were arguing.
Had a good day as well.
Yeah, but they were arguing with me, Slick. They said, well, so what? I said, wait a minute. You can't say that he has to. Who does he have to outbeat over there? Jordan Reed? It's not. Look, Emeka has to go through Godwin, Evans, McMillan. Some people are just good immediately. That's just how it is, Slick. And I think a lot of people don't like to accept that. But either way, I was very impressed on how the offense did settle in. I was a little frustrated with Baker, but also I was very frustrated with Grizzard. Here's why, Slick. He was giving me Canales energy when it comes to the play calling. It was too conservative. It was not creative. When we were running the ball, it wasn't as effective as it should. Baker was always in the pocket for the most part. I need to see a Baker on the rollouts, on the run. That's where he makes his magic. Now, of course, ironically speaking, 2 of his big touchdowns came from the pocket, but we want to see Baker out there spreading the ball around, running. That's what he does. That is what confuses and frustrates defenses. Because as you can see, he was helping us win the game and keep plays live with his legs. But he was a little jittery. But as usual, the guy Baker Mayfield, who's playing like a veteran elite quarterback right now, he scored when it fucking mattered. And again, shout out to Bucky Irvin, Slick. He showed people I don't just have to run the ball to be effective. I can catch out of the backfield too.
Absolutely.
This offense is going to be sexy.
It's only gonna get better because you end up with more people returning. You end up probably it'll be Tristan Wirfs first. Then it's going to be Chris Godwin, and then it just gets strong. This team just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And you get to have a little look at the other guys that probably will be a little bit more buried later on down the line. Yes. But know that if you need them, they're there. They've got the experience. It's almost like they're getting blooded in a little bit. So we'll definitely take what we get when it comes to that from especially the wide receiver room.
And the running back room is only going to get better, like you said, with Wirfs coming back. Now, I think it looks like he might come back either the Jets or the Eagles. I would hope that I think the dude is about to come in and talk some shit. So let's get ready for that. Yeah, because Falcon fans, we about to talk some shit to y'all in a second. We not scared, but we're going to let the dude come on in here and be rude. Go ahead, dude. Let your presence known.
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. All right, now we're ready.
Let's get it.
Woo! Hey, it's a tale of two halves. Kind of like that novel Tale of Two Cities, bro. Falcon fan. Remember 28-3? Well, you came out hot. And then you young-ho cooed it all the way. By the way, APB out on that kicker in Atlanta. From what I understand, he's missing, or he missed it, should I say. Shout out to the two gentlemen above me here on screen. First of all, AJ over here, bringing the heat, bringing the fire, bringing the passion, and occasionally bringing the funk. And then I got to talk about my main man up here, right underneath the little thing that says live. He's got his hat on backwards. He's rocking that beautiful, beautiful British mullet. He's the coach. He's, as AJ calls him, the British guy that always stays fly and well lubricated, I might add. What are you drinking tonight, gentlemen?
We got a bit of rum and coke, just chilling on a simple one. Nice little Cuba Libre to go get through this.
I have water. After yesterday's shenanigans, I was drinking my ass off, and then I had to have a cigar to balance me out. Then work it off this morning. The Bucs they did the Bucs thing. They always give us a fucking emotional roller coaster.
And that's what we pay for. You pay the fee, you get the ticket, you go for the ride. And we went for the ride yesterday. And then let me tell you, there's several TV screens in and around the Tampa Bay area that probably has something thrown at it, if not completely destroyed. Uh, I'll give credit where credit is due. That was a game that Todd Bowles usually kind of sinks his head down into his chest, goes full turtle mode. But he didn't do that. He actually, wait for it, coached to win the game, not tried not to lose. And that was a beautiful thing to watch. And again, going with the theme of a tale of two different halves in the game, Baker Mayfield, it turns out when you shuffle a guy's offensive line around right before kickoff, kind of fucks him up a little bit. And Baker, I don't want to say this because I don't want him to get drug tested, but he was high with his throws most of the afternoon. So NFL, please let him put the nicotine back on the sideline with the pouches, because that really seems to calm him down. But when it came down to crunch time, what we saw was Baker Mayfield, and here comes every BS line that we hear on social media. He was dropping dimes, he was throwing darts, he was throwing BBs, throwing frozen ropes, whatever bullshit you want to call it. He put the biscuit in the basket, and the Buccaneers went into Atlanta, exorcised the demons that were the Falcons last year, and dare I say, instead of rise up, Falcon fans, it might be time to wise up. So, 1-0, king of the division again. Every other team lost. How you doing, Spencer Rattler? Cool name, shitty game. And Dave, my buddy Dave over there in Carolina. Look, it's Carolina blue for a reason, okay? But I want to put a pin real quick, and I want to give a shout out to the NFL for a couple things. First of all, we once again realized that logo in Dallas, it's not a logo, it's a rating, 1 star. You trade away your pass rusher, and then you struggle all game to do what? Rush the passer. Green Bay, thank you for making me look smart again. Detroit, we have a problem. You thought Aiden Hutchinson was going to come in and you guys are going to be like, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl. Everything's going to be great. And Jared Goff. Jordan Love showed you none. And Micah Parsons, who doesn't even know the group celebrations yet, came in and looked like a cheetah chasing down some kind of predator out in the wild. So shout out to the Packers for pulling the trigger on that trade. I would have never given up 2 first-round picks or anything like that. But, hey, Green Bay, you do you. Micah, I'll just say this. I hear podcast is really popular in Green Bay. Not sure if you're the type host they like there. But good luck with that Green Bay nightlife, Micah. I'm pretty sure all that money is going to go really well there on, poutine and cheese and, well, more poutine and cheese. And that 1 bar, make sure you don't get kicked out of that. All right, back to the Bucs. Buccaneers are now looking and staring down a prime time matchup with the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud, haven't figured out how I'm going to cut my hair after I turn 13. CJ Stroud, still wearing the same haircut he did the prom. I think the Buccaneers have a good chance in this game. I think they showed us, if nothing else, they can start crappy and be resilient and keep pounding the rock, all the other bullshit lines, and still pull out a victory. The big news of the day, as brought to you by Pewter Report, and I'm going to butcher the dude's name, but he's a hell of a guy. Josh, is it Quipo? Anyway, broke the news of the Buccaneers restructuring Jamel Dean's contract. Basically, hey, Jamel Dean, you had a pretty solid game other than like 2 or 3 really bad plays. But how you take a pay cut on your day off, bro? I mean, let's be honest. That's what happened. Look for the Buccaneers down the road here to either be shopping him or at the very least, obviously cutting ties with him at the end of the season. This tells me as much as anybody else that can read tea leaves or crystal balls or bong smoke that the Buccaneers feel Benjamin Morris is coming back pretty fucking soon. And I don't think you ask your quote-unquote starting DB to take a pay cut if you don't have somebody waiting in the wings to take a spot. Rookies look great yesterday. Tyke Smith, you're a beast. Hey, Hassan Reddick, that's 1 sack. You got 13 more to go. I need 14 sacks for those $14 million, so you're on your way. Khalid Kansi, you look strong, but you got to make these tackles. Sarassier, I like the team. Tale of two halves. You got benched, but you did what most people don't. You got benched, and you put your head down, and you came back out, and you listened to the instructions, and you played a hell of a second half. And that, my friend, is why the gentleman up there in the upper left-hand corner with his hat on backwards is a coach. We're not here to teach you to be football players. We're here to pull every bit of talent out of you and put you in a situation to win and make you learn from your mistakes. So with that said, as always, it's always a pleasure, never a burden to come on and shoot the shit with you guys. But I got a question for the guys in the comment section. Got a question for the gentleman on screen. 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions, no turnover by Baker. Now remember, all offseason, oh, we don't care about the big yardage numbers and all that. We just don't want turnovers. Okay. Baker heard you. The Bucs heard you. They didn't turn the ball over. More importantly, he didn't turn the ball over. But what I will say is, hey, Atlanta, if you had DBs that could catch, you had 3 or 4 interceptions right there, bro. So Baker, hell of a comeback. Way to be gritty. All those other, stereotypical bullshit words, buzzwords that they use on ESPN. By the way, fuck Dan Orlovsky, Pat McAfee, and all those guys. But Baker, I need a little more accuracy to start the game next week and moving forward. But I understand. Turns out you might have needed some preseason reps because those balls were coming in a little high. Higher, I might add, than I am presently here on camera with you, or at least on screen. So, Baker, you came in a little rough. Understandable with the shakeup. Buccaneers, you looked a little rusty to start the game. But what's important and no one's really focusing on, that's a division road win. And the division that is always comes down to win-loss record between 2 teams. And the 2 teams that are favored to win this division, or at least compete, are the Falcons and the Bucs. Carolina, thank you for participating in the 2025 NFL season. Your draft order will be up in about, 3 months. We'll let you know where you're picking. Otherwise, Bryce Young, don't buy the all-exclusive pass for Disney World. You cannot ride all these rides. You are not tall enough to be an NFL quarterback. Travis Hunter, cool story. You cut your hair off, but did you cut your talent and go with it? I mean, seriously? You were supposed to be, what pick was he in the draft?
Wasn't he the 2nd or 3rd pick?
Yes, second or third.
Okay, so you're a top 5 pick, and you got how many yards? 24, 20, 30? I don't know. I might be old school. A guy who claims to be, well, first of all, hey, college football, you gave this man the best offensive and defensive player of the award of the year and the Heisman Trophy, bro. He wasn't the best wide receiver on the field yesterday. He wasn't the best DB on the field yesterday. And those 2 teams suck.
Yes.
So, Travis Hunter, you got a long way to go. You cut off your hair. Hey, Golden Boy. Hey, Sunshine. Take a hint. Get an adult haircut. At the risk of alienating my co-partner over here, don't be like Slick. Don't go through the midlife long hair crisis right now. You're still young, dumb, and full of, losses. Without Travis Etienne, the Jaguars lose to the lowly Panthers. Without Dave Canales, the Panthers, they're still the Panthers. Remember, and I'm going to say this every time the Panthers conversation comes up on any show, anywhere, anytime, y'all looking for a quarterback, and you kick Baker Mayfield to the curb. You kick Sam Darnold to the curb.
Let that sink in.
Who else did they kick to the curb?
I mean, they ain't been shit ever since Cam Newton. So, and you don't even like to acknowledge him.
Well, and like we put out there earlier today over on Twitter, the Carolina Panthers stumbled, lost their way into getting Cam Newton. without Cam Newton, y'all haven't done a single thing. You would literally be looked upon as worse than the Cleveland Browns historically. Okay? Because without Cam Newton, there's no MVP. There's no Super Bowl appearance. Hell, little tiny angry Steven Smith or whatever his name is, he would have only been there for 2 years and got mad and left. So your entire franchise lucked into a generational quarterback and you did squat with him. Now you've got a quarterback who's literally half the size of that guy. And you're telling me you're going to compete in a division that some would call a shitty division. I would call the most competitive black and blue division in the league. Why? Because at any given day, even Spencer Rattler can get a nut in this division. Hell, we saw the Falcons almost rose up. With that said, hey, Falcons, you need more weapons. I think maybe if you raise your concession prices a little bit and start charging more than a couple bucks for a hot dog, maybe all those fans can help you afford some free agents. By the way, I know a hell of a defensive back will trade you a 3rd round pick for. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But with that said, as always, thank you for the Vine. Thank you for the time. Buccaneers by 550,000 points every week. I see we got 14 comments over there. I'm going to let you guys dissect that. But again, I appreciate what you do. And I appreciate you guys taking the time each week to come on here and shoot the shit, especially giving me the opportunity to come on here and run my mouth and kind of kill my buzz. With that said, we learned on Sunday that the Atlanta Falcons are what?
Not the Bucs. Not the Bucs. Not the Bucs. That's what we are doing. That's what we are doing. They not the Bucs. They not the Bucs. We're gonna take a quick little break. We're gonna show this little highlight for 1 second, guys. 1 moment.
Mayfield on first down, throws, end zone, caught, touchdown.
And we're back, guys. We are back. But we made a lot of great points, though, about Baker Mayfield. We said this already. Baker is going to have to calm it down a little bit. But it also, like I was saying, it goes back to what Grizzard has got to do, be more creative. Slick, I am not opposed to the Bucs running spread, running crossing routes. Now, I get it. With that offensive line we had that was shaking, that was shifting, of course, we had to get into a rhythm, but it's no reason not to run a spread. Imagine this: Cade Otton, Evans, Emeka, then you have Tez, you got Sterling. Somebody's going to be open. The line will be good enough. And imagine Baker just rolling out. Somebody's going to be open, Slick. Somebody's going to be open. And that's what we need to do. Use that pass to set up the run until Wirfs comes back. Now, once Wirfs and the offensive line is back where it needs to be, Slick, then I think we should start establishing the run first. But we are still a devastating, lethal passing offense. Let's get that going. That's just my opinion. 23 personnel as well. Absolutely.
And the way I look at it is, ultimately, this Buccaneers team held a team to 20, and I've always said if you can hold a team to 20 or under, you should be able to beat them. And we did, which is fantastic for us. The issue we've got to do is we've got to start faster. We've got to come out of the blocks fucking blazing, and I reckon it will come because now they know you're gonna take this back to film and you go, look, guys, this is what happens when we don't start fast. This is what happens. Two, 3 and out, and a score by them. Yes, we got back into it, but better teams will make us pay. Better quarterback will make us pay, and you have to be ready for that. You can't do that to the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll make you pay. Yes, every single time. Again, really pleased with the tenacity and the toughness that we put in there. I'm really pleased with Coach Bowles having a little bit more balls on the table. My wife noticed something in the broadcast. I'll have to try and find it. Is he pulled a face? As usual, Coach Bowles in different kind of scowly kind of and like, rest in fucking cunt face that he
Yes.
tends to have. And it was something about fucking brightening up your day was the advert with his face next to it, and it was like, fucking hell. You couldn't fucking play. I'll see if I can find it. We'll turn it into a fucking GIF. It'll be fantastic.
Yes.
Ultimately, I'm happy. It was a bit too nervy for my liking.
Yes.
I thought the referees called a decent game. I was really pleased. At the time, I wasn't, but in hindsight, I am. I was really pleased with the rough and the passer calls because it was consistent. So when it happened to us, they called it.
Yes.
I'm okay with that. If you're going to go down the route of you're going to call ticky-tacky, and they were, in my opinion, the Greg Gaines one was a bit more stupid. But I do think the Vita Vea one was unavoidable. He was always getting hit. Doesn't matter what was going to happen. There's no way you pull out of that. But either by, that's what they called it. But the good thing was when it happened to us, they didn't shy away from it. They still got the flags out. So I respect it. I'm okay with it. If that's the way you want to officiate the game, it's cool. At least you're consistent.
I want them to be consistent, but unfortunately, the Buccaneers, we have been historically been hosed on fucking technicalities, from the catch in against the Rams, from the no pass interference in 2010 season with Freeman, with Kellen Winslow against Detroit. It gets to a point, Slick, where I get fucking tired of rules always going against the Bucs on a technicality. And one of the most controversial moments of that fourth quarter was the simple fact that Penix gave himself up, but he fumbled the ball and he was still behind the line of scrimmage. How was that not either a turnover on downs or a touchback? Now, and another thing that this person, Savassier, I don't give a shit if he is giving himself up. You still need to touch him, because I kind of think all this would have been avoided, Slick, had Savassier at least touched him while he was going down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. At the end of the day, it didn't make too much of a difference, and it ended up going the way we wanted it to. But yeah, I remember seeing the ball being picked up. I was elated. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "That's it, we've sealed the game." And then all of a sudden, it comes back. For fuck's sake, it was one of those. The interesting thing was everyone saying that Coach Bowles should have called a play on one of the catches, and the reason he didn't, I found it quite fascinating because I wanted to know his reasoning. And it's pretty simple. It's as simple as they were told it was a catch by their side judge. So they were like, okay, we'll call a timeout, get ourselves set for the next play because we're ready to roll, but we want to make sure we got the right play in.
Yes.
Because it was a momentum swinging part of the game, right?
It was.
And that when they found out, they'd already signaled for the timeout by the time the challenge already came in.
Yeah, I know. Raheem always had a little scary ass on that side. Every 5 fucking seconds, all I see is Raheem running over there talking to the officials, and it was annoying as hell. It was like, my Lord, man, are you going to coach or are you going to have the refs help you out? But again, like you said, Bowles, he didn't know. But either way, this is why I think certain things where you talk about starting fast, I think when the Bucs are starting to get momentum on offense, they need to speed the tempo up, Slick, and start going to more no huddles, because at hurry up huddles, no huddles.
I'm a big fan of that, to be honest myself. But it is handy that in key or critical situations that you don't speed up and you slow down. And that's all to do with your own philosophy, right? Because like, I'm with you. I'm like, if the one thing I like about a hurry up offense is the fact that I can dictate that you can't sub out. So if I've got guys who can play multiple positions on the field, they can play big or they can play small. So let's say I play like a jumbo set with 2 tight ends, but both tight ends can play nasty slots.
Yes.
And then I play more of a lighter get a game plan. And you've literally put in your most heaviest dude to put up with my two tight ends. You can't sub out into a dime package or a nickel package. You are stuck in possibly a 1 high 5 linemen on the ground in a bare defense that you can't really sub out of because I've stopped you. And that's one of the things like I've started to add to my coaching is who's in at any given time. So when I watch film, I look at the players coming in. I look at the tight end. So we went up against a team quite recently that there were times where he would do max protects, and there were times where they would run a route. And what we found was that basically they put in an extra lineman on as the tight end for those running plays and would sub him out for the passing plays. So it gave us a bit of an edge. So as soon as we saw number 72 come on, we'd be like, they're going big, they're going big, they're going big. It's going to be a run. They're going pure tight ends out, they're going to go for a pass. It was always, or even if they weren't, you just always use him as a max protect if they brought out the lineman. So you knew if the tight end was going to be a threat in your passing game or not. You could work around that. And that's something that I've added to my coaching, is trying to be aware of because some players, some teams have situational players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you bring in that guy who's really good at impact blocking. That's going to do your fullback. So when they got the fullback in, you know what they're going to do. That all those kinds of things. And when with hurry up offense, you kind of dictate that the defense doesn't get to adjust.
Physically and mentally. You've been on the field, Slick. You've seen how players react. Sometimes when it's the hurry up causes anticipation, and it could cause hesitation to, like you said, those defensive players out there, because all of a sudden they don't know what to do. And what if we go into another scheme where we're spreading it out? But like you said, they have a big ass linebacker in there who's not as good at coverage. So at this point, you can get the ball out quick and you can make things happen, run the spread. And that's why I think the Bucs, they have the perfect pieces to do so. Even without Godwin and McMillan now, I think we should start utilizing Tez more in certain shorter passes and screens. We can use Otten where he can run up the seam, or better yet, what if he does a simple block and then roll out? We have the pieces. So I do want to see that more at this point with these weapons. Be creative, Grizzard. Empty the clip. There's no reason to reserve. And I think we will do that. But I'm glad you brought up the word situational, because we have one of the top 3 safeties who was a situational guy the last second. If he doesn't make that breakup pass, the Falcons win the game.
Yep.
It's over.
How many times have we seen that from him, though? Like making it one of those big plays that kind of, changes the game for us. And that's why you're a big game player, make big game plays that affect the game. And that's exactly what he did.
And you can see he's healthy, Slick. Last year, I do not believe
he was ever fully healthy.
Yeah, he would not have been able to make that play. But also, I tell people, it's not just about the physicality of the hit. It was clean. Because at first I was nervous. Like I thought he was just
the flag was going to come out.
Yes, I thought he threw his head in. But if you look at the instant replay, it's a smart play. He breaks the ball, the pass up with his hands in the air, and he goes for the ball. You can see his hands.
He plays through the hands rather than through his body.
Yes, because now, mind you, if this was 2005 football, Slick, that dude wouldn't have got up. He would have gotten flattened and we would have loved it. But the simple fact that he was aware of how to make the pass breakup, outstanding. Winfield, outstanding. Tyke Smith is going to be better, I think, Slick, as the season goes along, as being a safety. Jacob Parrish was sensational. He had one mishap, but again, he got juked out by Bijan. Bijan is going to give people problems throughout the rest of the season.
People thinking that we're going to beat a team down and they don't make any plays is probably not going to happen.
No,
they have talent. They have talent. They will use their talent, and the enemy. Yeah. I always say to my guys when they give up a few plays, and we've had a rougher series.
Yes,
the enemy gets a vote too. You get to affect how much their vote counts.
Amen.
Well, receivers will catch balls. Mm-hmm. It happens. But
That's
what
right.
are you willing to do to make sure that catch is just it's a catch and boom, he's on the ground, or does it spring for 50 more yards, 20 yards, touchdown, those kinds of things? That's the difference. You know that even we go like Mike Evans. Even in the old days where we would lose games, we only won 2 games this season. We got before we got Jameis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans had 1,000 yards and had I think 12 touchdowns.
Yep.
So the enemy gets a vote too. Doesn't matter how bad they are. Any team can strike whenever they need to strike. So you need to be ready for that. And sometimes we get emotional because we want our team to succeed, and it's frustrating when we see a lackluster opposition making plays.
100%. Well, and of course, for the Bucs, we want to see, it's all about the coaching. We want to see what the mentality is. We see certain teams and coaches that go all out. We want to see that from the Bucs. And I want to get to this comment because the D line and the pass rush, they were very effective. Now, in my opinion, Slick, you and I have talked about this. I think the secondary has got to do better. And I think for Bowles, he's going to have to accept certain times. He's going to have to play closer. The pass rush, ladies and gentlemen, and the secondary go hand in hand. The pass rush could be fabulous, but if your secondary is playing the fucking 5 to 10 yards off, it won't matter because they're going to simply dink and dunk the ball away and short pass you to death. Like Slick just said, these are professional.
That's what the Falcons did. Yes. The Falcons didn't. I saw a quote by somebody there saying that Penix didn't throw the ball any further than 10 yards. That's because they just played the lightning game all the time. They had their game plan was we'll give it to guys in space and get them to make plays, and ultimately it worked. The issue is you can't live off that. You can't sustain drive after drive after drive and turn them into touchdowns if you are unwilling to go further than 10 yards. Because eventually you will need to make those plays in that. You just can't keep doing it. It's like we used to have a phrase in the Steelers was like, I don't mind him catching the 5-yard ball because he can't this 3-yard slant that's going to turn into a 5-yard gain. But will he be able to do it again and 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 matriculate it all the way up the field to score a touchdown? The chances are no, because it requires precise concentration. It requires precise skill every single time. You just can't just go, I'm hitting him, and just dink and donk your way up the field all the time. You'll get field goals, and that's how they played. They played exactly like that. They dinked and donked up the field. It was enough to keep them alive, but it was never enough to really take over the game. And that's if I'm Atlanta Falcons, I'm saying that's our next step is we need to get past the sticks in the sense of we need to throw past the sticks and we need to start really attacking the deep structure of the passing defense. Because at the moment you're playing shallow and you'll get yours. You'll always get yours. You will always get yours. Short lightning in and out breaking routes, screens and what have you. You'll get stuff, right. And some of them will break big, but ultimately you can't live off it.
No, and also
especially when your run game's dead because they had no run game.
Oh, shout out to the Bucs, and that's why I think
you married that lightning game to a solid run game that's picking up, let's say, 4.1 a carry on average. They would have probably beaten us.
Oh, 100%. The run game became invisible by the second quarter, and that is outstanding for the D-line. Vita Vea was dominant. He's the one who got that fourth down stop because he literally broke through the line of scrimmage. So is Kalaji Kancey. Now, there's one person that needs to step up, Slick, because he got manhandled like a child, and that was Logan Hall. Logan Hall had a bad day yesterday. If you go back and watch the film, Slick, he was getting beat. He was getting beat. And I hope that maybe this was a bad day for him because, Slick, some players do have bad days. So maybe
you don't want bad seasons.
Yeah, exactly. I just want a bad game, and you learn from that. Zion, please catch the ball. You had 2 interceptions. Please, we want to see the interceptions, Slick, that we saw in preseason. We want that to translate to the regular season. And speaking of that, like when what the dude was saying, I really see a far upside for the Bucs. I was not impressed by the Panthers when I watched them slick, even though that was what I call the nothing bowl, because the Jaguars and Panthers were both nauseating. Trevor Lawrence still looks like Trevor Lawrence slick. It's nothing there. The Saints they're just going to be shit. We know that. Ha ha ha. But this was important for us, slick, because now that we beat the Falcons, I really think that's a psychological step for the Bucs and a psychological down for the Falcons. Yes, they're going to go back to the drawing board, slick, but the thing is, the Bucs will be more than likely
I see the Falcons being a 9-win team, 9 to 10 win team, and I see the Buccaneers having 3 or 4 more than them.
And that's the problem, Slick. They won't see us until closer to the end of the season, and that's a Thursday night game. Depending on how they are, if the Bucs are healthy, mind you, if we can stay healthy for the most part, Slick, the Bucs offense will be in sync by
the December Thursday night football. Yep.
And at that point, they might be finished because it's getting harder for them now, Slick. They go and play Minnesota. We'll see what Minnesota's like. If Minnesota,
it's quite interesting. When we were talking about the win losses that the Buccaneers could incur, we always want the Buccaneers to finish the last 4 games strong, right?
Yeah.
Those last 4 games are 3 divisional matchups.
Yeah, the Panthers.
Panthers twice, the Falcons, and then one before it would be the Saints. We do have the Dolphins in there as well. You kind of want the Buccaneers to, throughout that December/January portion, walk away with at least one loss is acceptable. 2 losses, you're kind of gritting your teeth, and then anything more than that is just like, we're going to fall into the playoffs. You don't want that.
No.
And to turn around, and let's say the Buccaneers win all those divisional matchups, and let's say they brain fart against the Dolphins, which is probably the one I probably accept the loss to the most, because it doesn't really matter. It's an AFC team. It could be a game that we've already got the division wrapped up at that point,
and we're just resting players. Yeah,
we're potentially resting players. It's week 17. We still got a game after against the Panthers. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose the game to the Panthers on the end of the season because we're resting. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked, because I wouldn't feel bad about that loss. I'd be like, well,
I'll say this: if the Bucs are 13-3 or 14-2 by then, yes, I will accept it, because at that point, why risk it? And you are right. But the good thing is, from what we can see so far, because things can change, Slick, but overall, I wasn't impressed across the board, like he said. Like when Dude brought up Detroit, that is a major concern.
Man, that's a bad loss, man.
It's a major concern, Slick, because depending
I generally think, I mean, we'll see with Minnesota tonight.
Yes, and Chicago.
And Chicago, so we'll get a good look at them. I wouldn't be surprised if the winners of the division are Green Bay, us, Eagles, and then I don't know.
The Rams?
Probably.
The Rams will be, just because I think the 49ers are going to run out of steam. Apparently, Brock Purdy is already battling an injury, and it's questionable for next Sunday. But watching them, Slick, the 49ers, I think they're going to be that team where the first 6 to 7 weeks, they'll be competitive, but then they're going to run out of steam. They're not a team that has the longevity anymore. Seahawks,
nice, but I think they'll be the 4th seed.
Yeah,
I think they'll be the 4th seed. I think we'll be the second seed. I think 2nd or 1st seed. I see Green Bay in the 3rd. I see Green Bay in the 3rd, and then us or the Eagles will be the 1st and 2nd.
Yes, and that is,
in my opinion. I'm not going to take anything away from the Eagles. They're going to be one of the best teams.
They're going to be good until further notice. Now, it can all change, but as of right now, from what we saw from the Bucs, I give us overall a C, but it's a good C. Why? Because
I get C+.
Yeah, we were restructured. We redid our O-line.
New offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Never called plays before in an NFL regular season game.
Yeah.
Never done it. was okay.
Yeah.
We'll take that because you're going to get that because we had it with all the others.
That's right. It just takes
With
time.
the Dave Canales, all of those guys. We've had it. That's fine. The thing that I liked the most was Bowles played with balls.
He did. When he went for that 4th down, that was
I was
impressive.
shocked because I was like, please do something. And I think it wasn't like was it a 4th and 2?
It was a 4th and 1, but it was a long 4th and 1. And the simple fact that we went for it, though, that I also think that helps, that it brings the momentum to the team and confidence to let the players know our coach believes in us. So we're going to get better.
Anytime you look at 4th down as an extra down, it's scary for another team because they're like, stop thinking going 4th down.
Exactly. And again,
that's what makes the Eagles tough.
Yes.
You know, if you get them to 4th down and short, they'll probably fucking go for it. That's nerve-wracking because they've built a play that they're pretty good. They're pretty solid at gaining off it. So you end up looking at them going, oh, fuck, they're going to go 4th down. They're going to fucking convert this.
And now we're going to be tired.
You need to get them 4th. You need to get them 4th and 3, and they'll probably back off.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything 4th and 2 or less, they're going to go for it.
Yeah. And you know, we'll talk about this later on down the line, but you know, we play Monday night against the Texans. Like Dude said, I have a good feeling about the Bucs. I do think though, hopefully, if Bowles finds a way, just maybe earlier, to say, you know what, let's play a little closer and see what they got. Because if the Bucs play closer coverage,
even Jamal Dean plays better when he presses.
Yes. And if he gets beat, he'll get beat. But you have Tyke and you have Winfield to back you up. I think that's the mentality Bowles should do. Like, you know what, guys, I understand this. Now, Dean, don't worry. If you get burnt, that's why we got Tyke and Winfield back there. We got you, bro. We got you covered, big dog. Just go on out there and make that play. All right. Zion, I need you to catch the ball. We just paid you, so no excuses. Catch that shit, please. McLaughlin, you better not ever miss any more fucking extra points, damn it. You understand? Or there'll be hell to pay. So we definitely got this. But like I said, Todd Bowles, ladies and gentlemen, is 4-0 opening with the Bucs. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. We already discussed this. The first quarter of Bowles, we love. It's that fucking second quarter that we want him. Hey, within the second quarter of those 4 games, Bowles, just get us 2-2. Get us 2-2.
Yeah.
Just get us 2-2.
Let's go. Let's win the first. Let's win the first. Like, you look at the first 4 games, right? Texans, Jets, Falcons, Eagles. We can live with a loss. Then you go to the next 4: Seahawks, Niners, Lions, Saints. You could probably live with a loss. Patriots, Bills, Rams, Cardinals. Could probably live with a loss. And then the final 5. That's only 3 games lost so far, right?
Right.
That's where we go wrong. What would normally happen to the Buccaneers, we'll do our 4 games and we'll go 3-1. And we're like, yeah, okay, we're cool. And then all of a sudden, in the next 8 games, we'll probably only win 3 of them.
Right. We'll be fucking around 6-7. 6-7.
Yeah.
And then we got to claw our way out of it. But if he can break that down, we have the pieces now. Reinforcements are going to be on the way. So just hang in there. And again, Good Friday. I'm going to get myself up out of here, Slick. I'm going to get ready for this game. But I want to appreciate all the Bucs viewers in here. It's fucking Victory Monday. Smile. We can talk shit all week. I want y'all to play all the Atlanta rap songs to throw that shit in their faces. Welcome to Atlanta. Whatever you want to play. Be disrespectful. Atlanta fans.
You wanted this.
You wanted this and you asked it. Like he said, instead of rise up, wise up and sit your ass down. Have several seats today. As always, guys, check me out on my TikTok, AJ Turnup, on my Twitter as well. I will be on there to talk most shit this week. Again, check out my video with Coach Slick. Give Coach Slick an opportunity, guys. We want him in the States to be coaching. because he might be able to persuade Todd Bowles, to play more cover 2, go back to those days. Cover 3, fine, but until Benjamin Morris lines up, we need to get closer. But Slick, I will holler at you, my brother. You take care of yourself. Go Bucs, y'all. Happy Victory Monday, damn it. Let's go.
Eat your W, brother. Eat your W.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So enjoy Victory Monday. Whatever's left of it in the UK, that it's now Tuesday morning. But enjoy it. Enjoy the week. Get ready because we got a whole. It's a bit later than normal. We're gonna go to. We're going to Texas. We're going to Houston, and we're gonna give them problems. It is that simple. The Buccaneers have their game plan. They'll be ready to execute. Emeka Egbuka is him, and I am pleasantly surprised that out of all the wide receivers taken, we got the right one. I was expecting more of the other two because I quite like Golden and I do quite like Hunter, but the Buccaneers found just another selfless wide receiver, which is awesome because now we have 3 of them that are stars, and now potentially with Trey Palmer gone, he was a tiny bit. We got Jalen McMillan, he's selfless. We got Tez Johnson, he seems selfless, and we got Sterling Shepard, who also seems selfless in us. So this is a very selfless wide receiver room with a quarterback that knows how to sling it. Let's go get ass, man. That's all we gotta do. All we gotta do is go in there, take the win, 2 on the road, and we're home opening in Creamsicle. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs!